So I think after all that Robert Downey Jr. and Captain America 3 talk yesterday, Warner Brothers just became sick and tired of letting Marvel dominate the discussion of upcoming comic book movies. They had a very good showing at Comic-Con where I think the DC clearly won the convention, but the conversation has continued to skew heavily towards Marvel, largely because even with the lack of information coming out of Marvel about their slate beyond Avengers Age of Ultron, there just hasn't been that much to talk about with the Warner Brothers DC slate, because we haven't known anything about Batman v Superman, what was going to happen beyond that, and that film itself is so far out. Well, the entire game has changed, I think, in more ways than one, not just in terms of publicity, but in terms of, I think, who rules the comic book movie universe. Because DC has revealed their upcoming slate of movies, a number of talent that's going to be now officially involved, one huge surprise casting announcement, which I personally could not be more excited for. And I think now that the DC landscape has suddenly and instantly taken shape, we have much more of a conversation going on here, and DC now firmly exists in this area instead of just some, ephemeral cloud of what could be and what we hope will be and what we dread might actually be. Who knows if this will assuage all of our fears, but it's definitely a very dark, landscape that they're putting together here for their movies, but I dare say it's dark and glorious. I'm very excited about this, a lot of it going to that surprise casting announcement. So let's talk about that first, and then we'll go through the list. But I could not be more excited for Mr. Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller is one of the most talented people working in Hollywood. He is an incredibly talented actor, and he really disappeared from everyone's radar, the media's radar, Hollywood's radar, and I had some concern that his career just wasn't going to work out. But that's not the case, because Mr. Ezra Miller is the Flash. Now, the listing they're giving as a reference for his previous work is The Perks of Being a Wallflower. He was very good in that movie. He did a mean Tim Curry in the Rocky Horror Picture Show imitation. And I would actually liken Ezra Miller something to a Tim Curry-like character, which I think is a very interesting way to go with The Flash, who he'll be playing. Would you think that Tim Curry would play The Flash? No, I would not. I wouldn't think that Ezra Miller would do it, but I'm instantly interested in this. Now, I don't believe, also, there are a couple of things interestingly going on here. Now, one, Ezra Miller, if you're going to watch a film that he's been in, go watch We Need to Talk About Kevin. He's in that movie. It's opposite Tilda Swinton. He's fantastic in it. It's a movie that was criminally overlooked during its award season when it was a contender. It just never got the traction that it needed, but it's a fantastic film. Now, the other thing about Ezra Miller, which is very interesting, is that he's obviously played openly gay characters, so particularly in Perks of Being a Wallflower. And he has not really, I don't think he's commented too much on it in his personal life, but we just had this discussion over with Luke Evans in Dracula Untold, but now you have an actor who at least very outwardly embraces the gay community, starring in a DC movie. The whole thing is fascinating. He's incredibly, infinitely talented. It's just such an interesting thing to see come together, and I give major props to DC for making such a bold move as to cast such an interesting actor, and an actor who, is somewhat of an interesting choice for a comic book property, to hang an entire comic book property on. But Ezra Miller, I've interviewed him. He's very professional. He's very game, and I think he'll do a lot to promote the movies. And we'll obviously probably be seeing him in Batman v Superman. It's fascinating development. I'm so happy for Ezra Miller, and I'm curious to what you guys think. I'm sure a lot of people are going to discover a great movie now as a result of this. We Need to Talk About Kevin. But that's just made my day. I'm sick, and I feel great. Okay, so let's go into this lineup for the movies that have been released. There's one other big surprise here about a Lego Batman movie, which I think is hilarious, and I think that clearly Warner Brothers recognizes their strengths. I also think they're continuing to know they have to think a little bit outside the box. Marvel's done that, but I feel like they still have some level of loyalty or to the source material, where I feel DC is making bold moves because they feel they need to do that to make up for lost time. And these are bold moves, so let's dig in. All right, Batman v Superman, of course, as we all know, comes out in March 2016. And everybody get ready, because there are a ton of movies now slated right behind it. No more waiting. We've had to wait a long time for this thing to come together. Warner Brothers is clearly using that time well to set it all up and put it into place. And get ready for quite the roller coaster ride. Now, Fascinatingly, what follows up Batman v Superman potentially the same year? The Suicide Squad movie. We've talked about this. David Ayer is now confirmed to direct. I told you, I think he's a very good director and writer in some regards. I don't know how much I feel he can stay on the line in terms of quality. I feel he's a little bit hit or miss in that regard, but his Harley Quinn, let's hope he gets her right, because this is going to be the Harley Quinn movie. Deadshot, of course, will be, a big part of it. Amanda Waller, you're going to see her enter in a big way. You can check out my entire video on that potential movie. I'll put a link at the end of this video. But Suicide Squad coming very soon. And to balance out the heroes with the villains so quickly, I mean, they're anti-heroes. They work for the government because they have explosive devices in their necks, and if they don't cooperate, Amanda Waller will kill them. But go check out the Batman Assault on Arkham animated movie that's out right now. It's based largely on the video games that are very popular, obviously, and you'll see kind of what you're going to be getting from DC in terms of a live-action movie, which I think will perform, if done correctly, quite well. This just also totally blows the Sinister Six movie out of the water. I think they have serious problems over at Sony. They already have problems, but now they have even bigger problems. But I have to say, between a Batman v Superman movie and a Suicide Squad movie, I would say I'm equally excited for both. It just is interesting. When you have confirmation that this stuff is coming, you get more excited about it because you don't have to just wonder and play the waiting game. So I think that this is a huge step forward for DC. All right, so that's your 2016 slate, 2 movies. They're doing about 2 movies a year, it looks like. That's what they have here, 2 movies. 2017, your Wonder Woman movie. Let's see somebody beat DC to the plate in terms of a female standalone superhero movie. Now, we don't know what Marvel has planned. A lot of their characters are under wraps for a theory that we've discussed already. They have some surprises, I think, in store for us at the end of Avengers Age of Ultron. But getting a movie up, a female superhero film up on the screen before 2017 is going to be tough. But let's see how Gal Gadot performs over in Batman v Superman. But she's all in position. She's going to star in this movie. 2017 is the set date for her. That's now the mark to beat if anybody else wants to try and get there first. But we'll have a female superhero movie coming. It's going to star Gal Gadot. That's great news for her. I have my fingers crossed for her. I really like her in Fast and the Furious. I haven't been so happy with the costume that we've seen revealed so far, but we'll see who they put on in terms of talent. I think Zack Snyder's not the right guy to handle a Wonder Woman character. Hopefully they'll find someone a little better for her standalone movie. Then I thought this was interesting. Justice League is set for 2017, where they say Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck will return, as will Amy Adams. I think it's fascinating that Lois Lane gets top billing in a Justice League movie. It's perhaps because she's played by an Oscar-nominated actress. She has yet to win. I don't know what this will do for her in terms of her Oscar caliber and trying to actually win. She's so firmly entrenched in these DC movies now, but at least she's getting top billing. I think that's very, very interesting. And you don't see Gal Gadot's name mentioned as returning for Justice League either. Maybe they feel that's enough Gal Gadot in her own movie for 1 year. Let's focus on Lois Lane over in the Justice League. But is Lois Lane going to join the Justice League? Who knows? All right, so that's your 2017 movies. Then, 2018, you've got your Flash movie with Ezra Miller. So exciting. This is also so funny when you think of these movies so far out, how much these actors are going to age by then. That's 4 years out for Ezra Miller, starring in a 2018 movie. I mean, that's really, he's going to be a very, he's, I think he's, past his teenage years at this point, but still, he's going to be quite a different person. He'll be a full-blown adult at that point. Very interesting. And then, of course, Jason Momoa, he's got to wait 4 years to finally get his own Aquaman movie. We'll be seeing these characters in play, obviously, in the Justice League films, maybe also with crossovers, but Ezra Miller and Jason Momoa will be leading the DC Cinematic Universe in 2018. What a lineup! I have to just admire it for the craziness alone. That, Jason Momoa, who nobody respects as an actor and has never been in a successful film, and Ezra Miller, who fell off the map, and there's just such different actors, to be the people who were leading DC's charge in 2018 is fascinating. All right, then in 2019, Shazam finally gets a movie. Dwayne Johnson, for all the talk about him being Black Adam, it's far out. He has a long way to go. I don't know how Black Adam's going to show up in these movies earlier on because Billy Batson's Shazam will show up in the Justice League, but where's Black Adam going to be? Are they going to bench Dwayne Johnson until 2019? We'll see. Also, that's that's 5 years out for Dwayne Johnson. Who knows where he's going to be in that place in his life and his career. Also, 2019, Justice League 2. And then in 2020, Ray Fisher, 6 years from now, will finally get to star in a movie. I'm sure somebody else will pick him up after, hopefully, his appearance in Batman v Superman and that other Justice League in 2017, but we'll be quite familiar with him at Cyborg at that point, having seen him in several movies, obviously. But he'll be getting his own in 2020, as well as a Green Lantern reboot. Now, interestingly, also, Cyborg's getting his own movie. Just like I said, we have our first female superhero movie from DC. 2020, we'll have our first non-white character leading a superhero movie. That is a huge deal. It's a huge step forward. I feel that Marvel could beat DC to the punch because 2020 is so far out. We don't know exactly what they have planned. I'm hoping a Black Panther film is somewhere in the mix there, but that's a fascinating development. And considering with the Green Lantern reboot, who will they go with? Hal Jordan, which is Jeff Johns' favorite. He's obviously very powerful at DC these days, but I think a lot of fans want to see Jon Stewart. So will DC in 2020 have two superhero movies? They're only two of the year, led by black actors. That would be very exciting, and I think that the audience wants to see it. I think the audience doesn't want to see Hal Jordan. I think that only the higher-ups at DC want to see that. I think largely people want to see Jon Stewart in a Green Lantern movie. But so that's going to get rebooted. But again, expect a Green Lantern casting announcement pretty soon because he has to show up, obviously, in these Justice League movies. Then they said some Batman and Superman movies will be thrown in there, sprinkled in there for good measure. And then in 2017, we'll be getting a Lego Batman movie before we get a Lego Movie 2. That'll hit the year later in 2018. So I think that, of course, Lego Batman was my favorite character in the Lego Movie, but the Lego Movie was about more than just the properties that are represented through the Lego brand and their building sets. I mean, I think it was about a little bit more than that, so it's interesting to see it maybe skew in that direction. Now, also, the question has to be, will this be the Will Arnett Lego Batman that's in this Lego Batman movie, or will this be a serious Lego Batman movie that plays off the ones that were released direct to video? I'm hoping it's the Will Arnett one. I think anything else is a waste of all of our time. But this is fascinating news. I'm very curious to what you think about it. How do you feel now that the DC Cinematic Universe has finally come into focus? Do you have more faith? Do you have less faith? What do you think of these casting announcements? What kind of Green Lantern do you want to see? Do you want to see Hal Jordan or Jon Stewart? What do you think of DC laying down the gauntlet, throwing down the gauntlet, saying we're going to have our female superhero movie and we're going to have our non-white superhero movie? We have our dates for those. They're going to happen. How do you think Marvel can respond to this? I think it's really great. And at the end of the day, the big winners, and also Suicide Squad jumping in there, a villain movie. And will that include Joker? Joker was a big player in the animated version, which I quite enjoyed. I like that interpretation of Joker and Harley quite a bit. So it's just a fascinating thing, and as I was going to say, again, at the end of the day, the big winner here is us, as these comic book companies and their respective movie studios try to outdo each other, at least in the publicity arena. Let's see if they can actually deliver when the movies themselves are released. But right now, in the headlines, we're having a heck of a good time talking about all this. So Warner Brothers has put it all out there, and now you can write your thoughts down below what you think of their announcement. Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, who? Is that the result? Share your thoughts. I think Marvel still obviously is a huge contender, but they finally have somebody else on the battlefield out there who can maybe take them on convincingly. All right, thank you so much for tuning in, and you can check out some more episodes right now.